have to miss. That's why we have this, group and how we play. So we'll just take it as it goes. But it's a little bit of a puzzle. You have to put it together, much like other teams do, and we'll be prepared for that with the contingency plans at certain spots if we need them.
Nikki?
Hi, Dan. Is it in fact a knee sprain that he's dealing with? And was he hurt on that tackle in the fourth quarter with about 5 minutes left where he came up hobbling?
He was hurt on a tackle. He was actually looking back on Micah and scrambled away and got hit from kind of the opposite direction, I would say. But he is dealing with knee injury. Like I said, it was good that he finished the game. And now as we get through it, we'll just kind of go through the whole process with him. And we're not going to miss it either, Nikki. With Jaden, we know how important he is. And so we're just going to kind of take it. That's why I truly say it's day by day to make sure that he can absolutely be himself.
And what are your expectations for Noah Brown and John Bates this week?
Yeah, I think it's a long shot, but we'll have it to find out when we get through Wednesday and where we're at. Both of them had soft tissue injuries, and we'll just see what it looks like as we get through Wednesday. But we're still assessing him and John and Jaden as well. So those are the four that it's too early to call it for me. And so once we get we'll get together Wednesday and have a better discussion for that.
Tom?
Hi, Dan. Not to stay on the Jaden track here, but
Sure.
do you feel like you have to treat him any differently given his importance to this franchise? Or are you treating his return to play differently than say a Noah Brown or John Bates?
It gets more attention, Tom, for sure. And we recognize like what Jaden is and the impact that he has here. But I'd be BSing if I said, like we wouldn't care about those guys in the same way. So I think it's not less on for them. We just want to make sure we're going to try to push the guys to the right spots. All these guys are like legit competitors, Tom. So there's some of us protecting them from themselves as well. But we're going to do our best to make sure we got a pretty robust return to play program, and they have to hit all the markers even to be considered to go. So we're just not going to miss any steps along the way, man.
And obviously, Marcus has a lot of experience. Can you kind of talk about your confidence in him, and maybe when you would want to make kind of a decision on who's going to get the ball on Sunday?
Yeah, we'll take it all the way to Friday and then, have a real good idea of where we're at. If called upon, this is an elite competitor, teammate, player. And so we'll just take it as we go through that one. But yeah, our confidence in him is through the roof based on who he is, the teammate, what he's shown to us here, Tom. But I'll have a better sense for that as I go through the week and can give you better insights on that when we get together on Friday.
David Aldridge?
Hey, Dan, on Marcus also, you guys kept him down through most of camp in the preseason. When did he hit the markers that you needed to see him hit to make sure that he was ready to go?
It was after Baltimore. It was close to Baltimore, DA. It was like, okay, could we get some reps into that one? I felt like in the pregame, that was okay, there it is. That looks like you all the way through. But that was the week we weren't sure. Would he be able to get some during that Baltimore week? The week after, he was at the full. And then from then on, I felt good. But it was really into that week that I was, okay, there's the speed, there's the explosion. And it took a while, but he has fully made it all the way back. Those are frustrating to go through as the player, but I can remember having the conversation. I said, hey, man, that's it today. And that's why we waited. So it would look like that. And I think that was the week through that Baltimore and then into the next week, which I don't know what the right word is, like the end of the season, preseason bye week. But that week I felt like he was back to himself.
A game question. What did you
Sure.
see specifically with the O-line production and performance at Green Bay and where the deficiencies were?
Yeah, I really felt like it was almost like a repeat from Detroit. They got out ahead, and I didn't like how we started, really on either side of the ball, David, to say, you have to go back and look. It was either 2 punts or 3 punts, on our first 2 or 3 possessions. They drove down some. So I didn't love the way that we started. As bad as it felt, as we got into the start of the fourth quarter, you're down a touchdown. Okay, we stayed in the fight. As bad as it felt, we didn't hit on a field goal at the end of half. We missed on a good return coming out of the half. So I thought our complementary football back and forth wasn't right. And then when it got to the 2 scores, then you're back throwing it all, to try to catch up again. So I thought, all right, can we stay in this fight? Here's our time to go take our shot. They went down to score, and that's where I thought the game changed, man, where we had one shot to go fight for it. Didn't love our balance, honestly, to go, that many runs and passes. At the half, there wasn't a lot of plays, so it looks at the end of the game way higher in the passing, which is not what you want to do against a team that's rushing and going. But I just didn't love, on both sides the way we started. That's what I like. There are things that I liked. Took care of the ball. Those things. But just in terms of just jumping on them and being aggressive from the start, Dave, that's the thing I didn't love.
Oh, Deshaun. You're still muted. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, got you good.
Hey, Dan. Obviously, the big part of that Packers game again was, losing the matchup in the run game. You guys struggled to get the run game going while they had a good amount of success on that side of the ball. On the defensive side, from that standpoint, what do you think needed to be better in terms of your run defense moving forward?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough matchup with Jacobs. And I thought, for him not to get an explosive run, I think his longest was 10. Deshaun, that was a big one. Quarterback had a scramble. He had a couple reverse. That was a long one. So that part, we thought, I honestly was more disappointed on the play pass side of things, where they're able to hit some shots down the field to the tight ends. The running back I've been impressed with. I thought he was going to be good. Not allowing any explosives by him. That was a big piece for us. But allowing some of the pass game explosives, that's the thing that really bothered me.
Liam.
Coach, obviously Austin Eckler had a huge impact in the pass game. How do you go about replacing his role? Is that something that you're comfortable having Bill Krosky-Merritt jump in, or are you going to see more Jeremy McNichols? What's the approach there?
Yeah, you're right. He has been such a factor for us, Liam, both on the field, and I can't emphasize this enough. The teammate he is off the field, the standard that he sets, how he goes for things. So it won't be with one person, not right away anyway. Those roles get worked out over time, but it won't be in the exact same way. I will tell you that. That's not somebody just say, okay, let's just plug and play. So we'll feature some guys in some different ways for sure, but it won't be in the exact same way we did it with Austin.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
JP.
Hey, Dan, you've talked in the past about having to protect players from themselves.
Yep.
With a guy like Jaden and his competitive drive, how hard is that to balance what I'm guessing he's going to want versus what you guys have to look at kind of long term?
Yes, you are correct. That's just who he is, which I also love about him, by the way. But it is that's my job, to make sure that one, I'm getting all the information, from the medical side. Is he hitting all the tests? And then you also have to trust your eyes. Where's he at? Where are we going? And so we're just not going to miss it, JP, for he and for any of the guys in that space. So that is the good part of being a competitor. But I'm constantly watching and pushing to see. And then before we even get onto the practice field, they have to go through a pretty strenuous testing to see where they're at, even before the actual on-field, reps begin. So that's for he and for a couple of the other guys as well.
And then similarly to the Eckler question, you guys were really excited about Dietrich Wise. He played great in the opener against the Giants.
Yep.
What do you do to kind of to fill that hole now going forward?
Yeah, we'll have to adjust for sure. And like the size and the strength that Dietrich plays with on the edge, that's a real thing. And so we'll mix it around. Fortunately for the roster, we've got some guys with some size that we can put into some different locations without giving away too much, but we'll have to do that some just because of the importance of that. And that's why Dietrich was here, to add some strength into the run game. And that's not going to change, but we will have to do it a little bit differently. We'll also see, how we can develop. Jalen Holmes has been somebody that's been here. We've got a lot of faith in him as well. And, we're still looking to see what we'd add and how that would look as well.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Scott.
Hey, Dan, piggybacking off of JP's first question with Jaden, obviously you've had some conversations over the last couple of days with Jaden. What's his demeanor been like dealing with this injury?
I think more than anything, just like this is a real competitor, Scott. So you want to make sure where's he at, and like what's he got to do to get himself back and hit all the marks that he needs to hit. Um, Probably more conversations, not injury related, to be honest with you, like performance and the things we need to do better. And so that's more of what we, spend our time on. And for us, that tell the truth process, you got to tell it, you got to receive it, you got to apply it. So we spent probably as much time on that as we did on the injury side of things.
Curious what you saw from obviously defensive point of view of Tucker Kraft from the Packers. Had a really good game, quality
Yes.
tight end. What happened there? And then obviously you have a Brock Bowers coming to town on Sunday. So how do you learn from that? How do you correct that, especially, trying to going up against those good tight ends?
Yeah, you're right. And that's what's hard, when you have, I think it was probably over 150 yards, must have been Scott, by the two tight ends, and one for a 57-yard to go. And so sometimes at tight end, man, it's eye control in the run game. Make sure your eyes are in the right spot, whether it's a run or a pass. And I think that's what I was referring to earlier on Tayshawn's question. Like, I was disappointed that, we lost the tight end on some, routes that, looking at one thing and it's, hey, this is thinking it's a run, you're looking into the backfield. And so I want to make sure those things we can get corrected. But yeah, no doubt about it. We knew that was one of the real focal points. It took some shots outside, which I thought, down the field on the corners, but Trey and Sean were into that space. But really, I agree with you that the tight ends were the matchup, and we better get that part really buttoned up heading into this week. That's for sure.
Howard.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Howard.
Wanted to ask you what you've thought of what you've seen from Terry McLaurin through 2 games, and how much is he still in the process of getting ramped up and ready to go after a shorter
Yeah.
preseason?
Yeah, I think love to see some of the plays that he's known for, Howard, where it's the downfield shots to go. We haven't connected on them. We've taken a couple of them. We thought we had one for sure. We just missed on the one against the Giants early on. I'm not sure if it was a double move, but we didn't hit it. And we took one last week. We got to convert on those. That's kind of the superpower for him, to get, the catch and run plays or the shots down the field. And we'll plan on working hard to do that. But no, we haven't hit those to the degree, Howard, that we need to. And we'll work hard to get that right for sure.
And on Terry again, how much is with him part of the difficulty, the focus that other defenses are going to place on him each week?
Yeah, you do have to be ready for that. Not one team plays it exactly the same. And so if you're talking about like a double team, okay, how do you work yourself through that? Are they high and low, or is it inside out? If it's in and out, it's through the top. If it's a high low, you can still work some things. So we do have to work through that. Fortunately, that's something that he has, become accustomed to. But the execution, that falls on all of us, Howard, the players, the coaches, all of us, to really nail that. And we definitely plan on doing that. But the attention that he gets garnered, I'd say it'll be similar, to what he has seen. And we're at our best when everybody's attacking. And so when we can get to that space, Zach, it's Debo, it's him, it's Noah, it's all the guys, that's when we really can be our most explosive. And we missed on that, and we missed the mark on that in this game. And we don't plan on staying in that space.
All right, we got time for 3 more. Let's go Ben, Candy, and then Donna to finish us off.
Hey, Dan, I apologize if I missed this. Did you say Jonathan Jones, what his status is here? I know you said he's still go, but you mentioned Bates and
yeah, Bates and
Noah
Brown and John Jones. So they're the 3 that we're working through this week to see what he'll be. But I'll have a better assessment on certainly Noah and John, as I'm going through tomorrow and the next day about what that would look like.
You mentioned the running back room will obviously look different to some degree. We've seen Bill be effective as a runner, but obviously there's a lot more components to that. He's a rookie. How comfortable are you with him in all the phases, including pass blocking, since needless to say, that's an important role for the running back?
Yeah, I would say we feel comfortable because we wouldn't have put him in had we not. And so that part, in terms of learning it, Ben, he's done a good job through the off season, through training camp, into that space. is there new looks that could come up? Yeah, no doubt about it, man. But as far as assignment wise, he's on it. Bill is, and so Chris, Rodriguez, will be back into the fold as well. So the three of them, we definitely have lots of belief, faith, system, details, all of it.
Hey there, Coach. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Candy.
When you look at the first two games of the season, what are the must improve now areas for you?
Yeah, I would like to see, because some did improve that I wanted to see. Like if you asked me after game one, I was in the penalties and the tackling, and those things got better. I just want to make sure that one, our ability to eliminate explosive plays and to generate them. That's a big piece for us, Candy. We allowed some explosive passes in this game, which in the game prior we didn't get as many explosive, plays in this game. So that has to happen. You've heard me talk about September football. There's mistakes. I want to see those corrected. I also want to make sure that like when you're watching us play, that it's just all over the tape, the way we're finishing on a back, blocking downfield. So I want to continue to heighten onto those things. And then I want to make sure we nail our complementary football. I thought we missed that on some spaces over the last 2 weeks. Thought we, had a chance at some points at the end of the half this week. We had a good return out to midfield to start the second half. Missed on points in that one. So that, Candy, can we sustain drives and get those points, especially when we did a nice job on some field position on the return game. So let's make sure this complementary football feeds in on one another, and knowing if the big return, we got to go get, a score out of that one, or when we hold them, kick it and Trent, puts them back inside the 10-yard line, like they got to stay back that way. And so is a must for me. The complementary football, we've got to make sure we get better at that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, Coach.
Uh-huh.
Sticking with the offense, what are you seeing as far as the execution on offense? Jayden talked a little bit about that after the game, that nobody executed really well on offense. So what are you seeing there?
Yeah, I wish it was all just one thing. And I got to do this also. I don't like to, but you also got to give credit to Green Bay and their defense. They were disruptive. They played well. And that also created some of the, not execution at the level that we want to. So we have a good system. We know it inside out. And we've got to make sure, on the plays that we need to make, and we go make them. And whether that's a catch and run play, a shot down the field that gets blocked up, hitting our marks in the run game, having balance. Those are the things that I want to see us do better. Didn't love seeing us start slowly. Obviously, we got in a hole where it was, I'm not sure, either 14-0 or 14-3. And I love that we stayed in the fight, even though it felt worse than that. But when those times come, we got to go, even, hey, it didn't go as well. And now we go get back in the fight and go do it. So those are those moments. We got to find our ways to go nail it in those times. So some of that's execution. Some of that's making sure we, eliminate, things that jamming us up, a sack on an early down, a penalty that goes from second down to, a longer second down. Those are some things that I want to make sure we address them. And like we said on the Tell the Truth Monday, you tell it, you receive it, and now you apply it. And I want to see it get applied.
Thanks,
Right.
Coach.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks.
All right. Excellent job moderating, Charlie. You're one of the best.
Thank
The
you.
best.
Simmer down.